Hello everyone, hello. I had to get little one ready. She woke up. So just as I was about to go live, she was kicking off. So, children, wait for new one. Yeah, she's not been well, bless her. She's had a sore throat and high temperature and stuff, so she's a little bit impatient than she normally is. So, good morning everyone. Hope you're good. If you missed FP1, what did you miss? You missed an Arvid Lindblad breakdown. You missed Lewis Hamilton go into a spin. You missed Colapinto go into a spin and then breakdown in the pit lane. You saw Mercedes top the timing screens. McLaren get within half a sec, or get to half a second, and Ferrari, put the Macarena rear wing on, but we're definitely running higher fuel, so don't look at their gaps. That's basically it. How many more time till quali? I'm repeating like an echo. Am I? Hang on. Am I repeating like an echo, guys? Echo, echo, echo. No echo. Maybe just reload the stream. Alan, I hope you're good, mate. Do I like this track? Yeah, it's chill. It's a bit of background music for us when I'm not speaking, which is not a lot of the time. But I'll be doing this, and then I won't be waiting around, unfortunately, guys, to have a chat. The stream will be swiftly ended because I've got to start my day job straight after this. We're fortunate it's at the time it actually is, the sprint quali, and that's the problem about sprint quali, is having a meaningful session that is within working hours for us Europeans. So, yeah, we'll be doing that, and then we can catch up. We can catch up before the sprint race starts, which will be later on, of course. Sound is very low, then turn it up. What, my voice is low? Let me crank it up a little notch. The reason I turned it down is because we did FP1 and it was 3 a.m, 3:30, and everyone in my household was asleep. So you had 2 streams open. I like the idea though, Alan. Thank you. True supporter of the channel. How many laps is the sprint? Good question. I think it's 19. Memory serves me correctly. It's like 18, 17 or 19, something like that. But 2:38, 2:20 a.m. for you. How the tables have turned now. Yeah, it's actually light. Was my partner think of me waking up so early for F1? She doesn't mind because she's not the one who's getting up for it. She just rolls her eyes and goes, "Okay, don't wake me up." No, she's very supportive of this, of what we do here in the channel and that. So yeah, I can't complain. Thank you, Arian. Right, so we are trying something different. I did get some feedback, and I know I've been very against this for some time. So we'll see how it goes. But because we aren't getting a lot of radio messages, because, well, really the FIA don't want, or F1 don't want to broadcast any messages, and there's not much for me to relay to you. We are trialing I've removed the chat from on screen, and we are trialing the AI radio transcriptions. So we'll see how that gets on. I will listen to your feedback, whether you like it or not. Of course, I'm always looking to try and improve your viewing experience. In previous times, obviously, I would relay the radio transcriptions to you. But because of, us not really getting much recently, that's the case. So, but we'll trial it out. What is the pit stop loss time here? I'm not entirely sure, Ammo. Need to find out. We'll find that out tomorrow. Given just an interesting question just came to you. Given the current situation, will the race in Bahrain and Jeddah even be possible? I don't think so. No, I think it is going to be. I mean, if you believe Isaac Hadjar and Antonelli, or the rumours that someone overheard Antonelli and Isaac Hadjar chatting on their commercial flight to Shanghai, it has always been. It's been cancelled now. So it's been communicated to the teams and the drivers, or maybe they were just talking about as if it is going to be cancelled and there's no way that it's going to go ahead. So. Just trying to get the session start timer up. 2 secs. But it starts on the half-hour mark. But just so that you guys know. Where's that not working? Well, I think I just heard that Red Bull had a considerable amount of degradation on both of their front tyres, which is not going to do them any good. Friday the 13th today, guys. Ooh. Right, here we go. Just over 5 minutes until the session gets underway. There we go. Ooh. Yeah, she woke up. That's why I was a few minutes late to starting the stream, because she was awake and she was crying. Bless her. Morning, Glenn. Good to see you, mate. You like to chat on the screen? We're trialing it. We're trialing it. So we'll see how it goes. Look, whether if you like it and you think it's relevant information, then we will leave it. If you don't and you want chat back on, then we'll do that. So I'm a quantity surveyor in construction. So Ferrari better than Mercedes? You hope so? No, I don't specifically think so. No, but I think they can challenge them for sure. Ferrari removed the Macarena rear wing. I'm waiting to see footage if that is the case. They did have it on an FP1, but I haven't seen anything yet. It was ineffective. Is that confirmation? We'll see. You can hear Princess stuff. Yeah, she is awake. Feeling a little bit under the weather, bless her. Hey, Eric, good to see you. Yes, there's image out. Fair enough, fair enough. If it didn't work, it didn't work. So sounds like it was a good idea, but maybe they still don't know enough. And maybe they need more test... Sorry, what? Is that the first radio message we're getting out of the session? Is that the first radio message we're getting out of the session? God. Very on brand, Isaac. Very on brand. You like it already? Oh, dear. Whoa. If you had any hopes for Red Bull, it's a good start. I am just going to refresh that. Sorry, Isaac. I can't have that sitting on the stream. That's more better. Ollie Behrman, thank you very much. Ferrari's Macarena wing might be a problem. It's unwinding the rear axle, and yeah, you see the lock. Yeah, I mean, there was suspicions that is the case. It sounds like maybe it's going to be better utilised. I think we'll still see it, but maybe they need more practice time with it because of FP1 being interrupted as well with like VSCs and stuff, and obviously the spin with Lewis. So maybe it's a case of that it needs to be implemented at very specific race circuits. I thought it would suit it here, but maybe because it's a sprint race weekend, there just isn't enough time to dial it in. Whereas Monza, yes. Bahrain, they already know about. Baku, so. Hey, Rob, good to see you, mates. Any updates on Aston Martin? Not really, no. I did see that Fernando Alonso's already got another brand new battery in the car. Oh, he's got a brand new battery in the car, so he's got one left, one remaining now for the season. Do you think Ferrari has the advantage here compared to Mercedes? I don't think so. No, I think Mercedes are still quickest because ultimately it is still a power circuit because of the first and last sector. But I think the gap could be close, a lot closer in qualifying. So I still think Mercedes will qualify up there, like on pole probably. That's my prediction. I didn't put that in my predictions because I don't do quali in relation to my predictions in my preview. But I think for the race, from what we saw in Albert Park, I think, yeah, definitely there's an opportunity. We have speedometer working. We have live speeds working again, I think. There we go. F1 fans from the Philippines. Hey, Taco. How to understand if it's the driver or not? Well, that's the thing. It's not that. I don't think it's that exact in relation to whether you know it's the engineer or not. You just kind of have to interpret it. So, are we racing in Bahrain? Oh, that's a fair point. Sorry, that's a fair point about Bahrain. Yeah. Going back to that, yeah, I don't think those two races are going to go ahead. As I said earlier on, if you just have to turn on the news, and it's pretty, I think, obvious to see that it is not going to be safe enough to go racing there as soon as it is on the calendar, which is a shame because it's a great circuit. I think Ferrari should keep the starting advantage until the engine change in July. Yeah, I mean, well, it's not even the engine change, it's to do with the turbo. So I think the turbo is separate to the engine, isn't it? So it's only 16 degrees. Yes, the air temperature is not hot here this weekend. So in relation to getting the temperatures up to speed, it could be a bit tricky, and we could see some graining on the tyres because it will be more thermal degradation than it will be actual physical degradation to the tyre, because it's not a very high, it's not a massively high abrasive circuit here. It was newly relayed only just over a year ago, but the track temperature is 30 degrees. So remember, the first two sessions in sprint quali, shorter qualifying sessions, 12 minutes long for the first one. I think it's 10 minutes for Q2 and 8 minutes for Q1. It is medium compound tyre only for the first qualifying session. So there we go. Sprint quali has got underway. Yes, sprint quali started. Yeah. Green light, and Bottas is wasting no time whatsoever and is out there. How much does the Ferrari rear wing aid braking when it's vertical? Definitely does, but of course there's that transition of depending on the type of corner. I reckon down the back straight it really does help, but maybe down into turn one because of the entry speed that you're carrying into turn one, and because of turn 5 as well, where it's downhill braking. Maybe that transition is just causing, yeah, as I said, unsettling the rear of the car. But we'll see. Is it still on? I'm trying to see the Ferrari rear wing. You can tell because there's an actuator in the center line of the rear wing. That's how you'll be able to tell if the Macarena rear wing is on or not. So compression ratio comes from turbo. No, compression ratio is in relation, I think, to do with the pistons of the actual engine itself. I could be wrong there, guys. But it's within the engine itself. The turbo is a separate entity. And whether you have a large one or a smaller one is entirely up to you. And Ferrari, supposedly, the reason they have better launches is because they have a smaller turbo. They foresaw the starting procedure being an issue. They flagged it. The teams went, no, we're not going to change it. This was like a year or so ago. So they went and built a car to accommodate for it, and then the teams came up at Bahrain and went, oh, I think there's going to be safety concerns and we need to change it. And Ferrari have vetoed, obviously, all of the opportunities to change the race start procedure, which is correct in my decision, in my personal opinion. So, Valtteri Bottas is the first driver to set a lap time here. Unfortunately for Cadillac, it won't be a benchmark time because we know they're so far off the pace at the moment, but we'll see. Compression ratio are pistons. Good. Thank you. Checo won't get out. Has that been confirmed? Oh, that's a shame. So we've only got one Cadillac running in sprint quali. That's a real shame because I feel like they still need as much data as they possibly can. So, but it's all on Valtteri Bottas' shoulders, and that's going to make it difficult in racing them this weekend, isn't it? When it comes to the driver ratings. But we'll keep an eye on Isaac Hadjar, and of course the Ferrari boys are out there. No Mercedes yet. No Mercedes. We do have the McLaren out there, Piastri and Norris. They did get ahead of Ferrari earlier on, but Ferrari definitely running more fuel. Max Verstappen comeback, maybe, but smaller turbo spools up more quickly, larger provides more boost, but is slower. Yes, that is the premise behind the size of the turbos, which is why they're having more difficult starts, because the first 50 kilometers an hour off of the start line from a standing start is purely provided from the ICE and the turbo. And it's only after 50 kilometers an hour that the battery kicks in. But what was compounded with the race start and made the race start of many of those slower at Albert Park was that they started with 0% battery, a lot of the teams. Ferrari had 20%, so when it was time to kick in, they did the battery did so. But when it's... but obviously, Mercedes, Red Bull, they didn't have any, so... Right, here we go. So, Charles Leclerc fastest in the first sector, 24.5, but we saw a low 24 earlier on from that of the Mercedes boys. But it is, of course, on the medium compound tyre here. Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar separated by less than a tenth of a second, half a tenth there in P1 and P2 right now. Hulkenberg up into P3, so it looks like he's maybe doing a second lap. But Charles Leclerc, all eyes on him at the moment in P, going around turn 11. Let's see how he fares on this medium compound tyre, as the Mercedes boys are both out on track now doing their outlap. So Charles Leclerc making his way down the back straight. Now we have live telemetry data here now. Let's see what top speed he achieves down this back straight and see what the clipping is. 334. So he got to 334. And that's better. 334 to I think I think that was 30 kilometers an hour drop off. Still not great, but it's 30 kilometers an hour of clipping, of super clipping. As wow, Lewis is half a second quicker than Charles for the middle sector. Damn, as Charles does go fastest with a 34.2, but if Lewis isn't held up by Pierre Gasly here or Colapinto, as he has been, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unless Lewis... No, Lewis has crossed the line. Transponder issues again. 1:33.7, so half a second quicker there, Lewis Hamilton. Good to see Hadjar go after Max. Yeah, I think he's doing. Haas did lots of upgrades, right? I'm not sure about Haas updates. To be honest with you, I will spruce up on my update knowledge and look at some FIA documentation this evening to see who has brought what here. But of course, it's only been a 4-day turnaround, so I can't imagine really anyone's brought many updates. They may have already had existing parts, as Hulkenberg splits the two Ferraris there with the fastest last sector. They are going to be able to do multiple laps, remember, on this same set of tyres because it is the medium. 6 minutes remaining. Reduced qualifying time available, remember, in qualifying. So it's not as long either as the main qualifying session, which we will see tomorrow at this time in the morning. Tomorrow. Is the rotating rear wing on? Someone said no. I haven't seen an outboard shot yet to see if it is on or not. So... do I think Lewis is going to be better than Charles this round? I mean, that's my prediction. Maybe it's hopium, as look at that. George Russell goes fastest in the first sector. That is 3 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc and 4 tenths quicker than what Lewis Hamilton set in that first sector. And Antonelli is 24.5, so that's on par with Charles Leclerc. Of course, if Mercedes top it on the medium tyres, it's not the end of the world for everyone. Just remember, it is... He's not quicker. Oh, he's not quicker. Neither Mercedes is quicker than Ferrari in the middle sector. But, I mean, you're talking a few hundredths of a second. We'll have a look at the sector times afterwards. But, yeah, if they top the timing screens here with the medium tyre, it's not the end of the world. It's all about just getting through because SQ3 is done on the soft compound tyre. As Piastri. Oh, that's better from Piastri. There we go. Much better. Only separated by less than a tenth from Lewis Hamilton. How about Lando Norris? We'll see how he fares. And he goes, look at that. Top 3 separated. So that'll be close until probably Kimi Antonelli and George Russell cross the line. There we go. 3 tenths. George Russell, 7 tenths. Bugger off. Bugger off. No, they're not using the Macarena. Fair enough. Yeah, it probably provides them a lot more stability. They just didn't have enough time to test it then. So, 4 temps over his own teammate. 4 temps over his own teammate in that first lap. Didn't realise the time. Here just in time. Good to see you, David. Yeah, got here just in time. That is ominous. That is. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be the gap at the end of the session, but that is an ominous first lap from George Russell. That is laying down a marker for sure. So we have 4 minutes remaining. It is currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to remember it's this top 6. It's the bottom 6 that goes. So it is. Lewis Hamilton's gone fastest. He's improved by 2/10. He's improved by 1/10 there in the middle sector, but his first sector is a lot slower. His first sector, he's 4 temps off of George in that first sector. So, is there battery deployment issues again? I don't think there is. I haven't seen any radio messages come through for Lewis Hamilton, unless you guys have, as Charles improves and goes P2. Maybe Lewis got a cheeky little toe there from Alex Albon down that back straight. Every quali session is going to be led by Merck. I think for the start of the season, for sure. Albon up into 17th, and then Lewis does improve with the fastest last sector, but that first sector slowing him down for now. So I just wanted to run through basically the bottom 6. So the bottom 6 now drop off when it comes to elimination. So it goes 6 eliminated in Q2 as well, and then the top 10 make it through into Q3. So at the moment we do have Alex Albon, Franco Colapinto, the 2 Aston Martins of Stroll and Alonso, and the 2 Cadillacs in the drop zone. And I think it's pretty much a given that unfortunately at the moment it is the bottom 4 positions are going to be occupied by the 2 Aston Martins and the 2 Cadillacs, but the other 2 positions are up for grabs. So Arvid Lindblad is out there, thankfully, after he had a breakdown, which seemed to be an engine issue in quali. Sorry, not in quali, in FP1. So it's good that he's out there. I haven't seen any radio messages, by the way. I've only seen it from like Cadillac and stuff. Have I, quick filter top 5? Should we do that? See if they've got any coming through? Verstappen saying shifts are terrible. We'll do top 10, actually. We'll do top 10. There we go. We'll do top 10. Don't really need to see any others, do we? Please stop the music. No, the music's staying on. Because it keeps the back, it filters out, keeps some noise going on when I'm not talking, which is not very often. So, yeah, they're hiding the radio so we don't hear the drivers calling it Mario Kart. But I thought this does display all of the content of the radio, but maybe not. Right, so, updates. George Russell only did 1 lap on those mediums, and he's come straight back in. Totally understandable. No need for him to push anymore. Same with Norris, same with Piastri, and Hamilton and Leclerc will also be... pitting this lap as well, no doubts. Kind of a boring session. It is really SQ1 and SQ2. It's not really, it's all about the eliminations. It's all about just getting through. I think at this stage of the season as well, there's not going to be too many shocks. So the top teams just need to get out there and set a lap time. And then it will be all about SQ3. Matt's good in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Yeah, we'll have a look at the sector times in a moment. We've got 30 seconds remaining. Oh, Alonso does improve. He pushes Franco Colapinto down. He did have an issue earlier on. So let's keep an eye on the bottom times as Ocon moves up into P8 and pushes Verstappen down. Red Bull could really be struggling here this weekend, but Carlos Sainz is improving. Gasly is improving. Lawson moves up into P9 and pushes Max down. Max isn't going to be at risk, though. Stroll, slight improvement in the middle sector, but looking at Alonso's lap time's not going to be that good. Lindblad moves himself away from the bottom 6, but he's in P14, so still at risk with Sainz and Albon out there, and Bortoletto improving as well. But let's keep an eye on Gasly. He's currently 14th, and he moves up into P7. Great lap time from him. Takes him within a second of George Russell's lap there. Colapinto, he's green in the first, green in the second. He's in the drop zone right now. Let's see how he fares when he crosses the line, and he goes up to 15th, so he is close to that drop zone, 2 places away from it. 17th and down. Bottom 6 are eliminated. And Science is out. Science is out. That is him improving, but not enough to get across the line, to get himself out of the bottom 6. Can his teammate fare any better? I don't think so. He's already 3/10 of his own teammate's time. So unless it's a mega last sector for Alex Albon, it's not. He's out. Double Williams elimination. And that is it, guys. That is your bottom 6. 2 Williams, 2 Aston Martins, and 2 Cadillacs. Wow. In my predictions, I said the Williams were going to be my stinker as Bortoletto improves there at the end and moves up to P13. But my goodness. Not good for Williams, is it? Not good for Williams right now. All those promises, eh? All those promises. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we are even getting messages, right? We're not even getting messages from the top 5. Top 10. Like, the FIA are really holding back on radio messages, I think. Why is Leclerc still out there? Good question. Don't know why Leclerc was still out there. He didn't improve last time around. Let's have a look at the sector leaderboard, though. So that is Q1 over and done with. We've lost the 2 Williams, the 2 Aston Martins, and the 2 Cadillacs. And the first sector is really just where, look, Lewis, I don't know what was going on with Lewis. Maybe he was consciously taking it a bit easier into the first sector. But the first sector, he's 4/10 off of George Russell's time there, whereas his teammate can get down to around a 1/10 and a half off. And then they're fastest in the first and last sector, although George did only do 1 lap. So, yeah, got it through, got his banker lap in. But I think it is a bit closer. But at first, what Mercedes definitely can do is go out there and just pump a good lap time in straight away. Ferrari's still not matching Merc Sector 1 deployment, are they not? As Max is reporting, can you check the drivability? It's horrendous. I mean, I'm not receiving any radio transcriptions, by the way, so I don't know if it's just me. But it doesn't really seem to be working that well. How was the super clipping today? So the drop off in speed from I saw was a brief yellow flag through there. Not entirely sure what that was. What I saw was Charles got up to 334, and then he dropped down to 304, stuff like that. So I think it was 30 kilometers an hour is what I saw. I mean, they've got a decent chassis as well, David. Yeah, it's not solely on the power unit, but the power unit is definitely what's making the difference. So Hadjar got to 340 and dropped to 314. So yeah, it's looking at about 30. It's not as severe as what we saw in. It's not as severe as what we saw in Australia. But welcome everyone. Hope you are good. Hope you're good. So if you just tuned in for this very early morning on a Friday. Sprint quali session, we have just had Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon eliminated. Double Williams disqualification. Double Williams elimination is the word I was looking for. Fernando Alonso in 19th, Stroll in 20th, and then the 2 Cadillacs, one of them only getting out there in Valtteri Bottas, and Sergio Perez not even able to make it out of the garage. So a shame for them because they need as much lap time as possible. Apologies there, pardon me. Was Ferrari using the Macarena? No, they're not. They're not. No. Can we not use super? There's nothing super about the clipping. I totally agree. I totally agree. How you can try and jazz that up. Who came up with that? Was it the FIA who came up with that terminology? So, a yellow sector wire. Probably some gravel, or maybe there was some debris out there. Albon bottled his lap. His last sector definitely was very slow, but the middle sector he was already off the pace in the first and second sector. So, what's the investigation for? The investigation is always just for them going a bit too slowly, below the delta time. But that's going to be the case. That's never really penalised. So, it's just basically to ensure that no one backs up the pack and makes it dangerous, you know. No one's going unnecessarily slowly. Can Kimi make the season exciting, or Russell wins it all like 23 max? I think he can. I think it will be. I think what you will see is that there'll be a lot more. It will be closer because Mercedes won't favour one of their drivers, I think. They will let them battle. We saw that with Rosberg and Hamilton. We even saw that with Bottas, although Bottas couldn't sustain that challenge with Hamilton. So I think their ethos is very different to what we saw at Red Bull. Why are you getting ads? You should only get an ads. I think YouTube have changed the way that they run ads. I've got it on manual only, so you should only get an ad when you enter the stream, like that the skippable ad. After that, you should only get an ad if I manually input it. But I think YouTube have changed it now, where they're overriding that. So unless you should only get one when you come into the stream, like the skippable ad at the start. I mean, I do have to have that turned on because, I mean, yeah, I do still need to try and earn a little bit of money. Red Bull not doing good. No, Red Bull do seem to be struggling. But they did, I mean, yeah, we'll see how they fare. But Max is complaining about the drivability. Williams and Alpine have the Mercedes engine and PU, so it doesn't look like it's the PU that is the main reason with Mercedes. It is the PU. It's the fact that they've been able to utilise the PU much better than their customers. A works team is always going to have an advantage when they make the engine because they're the ones who have been building that engine and designing it for a long time and building the chassis and everything around it. Whereas you're getting it in essence, obviously, yes, it's brand new, but you're getting kind of second-hand information from the works team as a customer, and there's always a disadvantage there. And I think from what the concerns were and the comments made by Andrea Stella in particular about the lack of information and so forth that they're getting from Mercedes, I think Mercedes are probably doing the bare minimum. They are probably giving McLaren information, but not as the bare minimum that is allowed. Like, they're competitors again now. At the end of the last regulation set, Mercedes knew that they weren't the front runners. So yes, having a Mercedes power unit win the constructors title back to back was preferable to them. Whereas now that relationship has probably changed, and McLaren maybe ignorantly thought that transparency of information and that open relationship that they had in the past few seasons was going to continue. But no, now you're back to, it's a reset, and you're back to being a competitor. So they're doing the bare minimum. McLaren were matching Merc in the corners in Australia, just nowhere near in deployment. Yeah, and McLaren have always been able to design a decent chassis and a decent aero package, and that's why I think they will get on top of it eventually. The positive for McLaren and Williams is that they can both sit there and say, okay, while we're not maybe on the pace right now, definitely Williams isn't, we do have the fastest engine. So if we can get that to work and switch that on, then we can fight it out with Mercedes and start battling for wins as well. So yeah, we haven't seen the full pace of the Mercedes yet. We won't see that until SQ1. SQ3, the last qualifying session. Can I put the ad in a crucial moment so you are like the big channels? Never. Never. Only in gaps of proceedings. Do they have to run on hards? No, mediums only. So mediums in SQ1 and SQ2 when it comes to the sprint qualifying format. And then in SQ3, they'll be able to put the softs on. Right, here we go. So, who's going to be the first driver? Let's keep an eye on Oscar Piastri, shall we? Because McLaren are definitely faring much better here this weekend. They were third and fourth, the second fastest team when it came to the FP1. And of course, they were very quick there at Mercedes and FP1. It's not the be-all and end-all, but it definitely seems like they're more comfortable here than what they were at Albert Park. So we'll keep an eye on Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. So Oscar Piastri making his way down into turn 6. It's a 28.163 in that first sector. So no, Oscar Piastri not pushing right now. Oscar Piastri not pushing because you're looking at 24s for that first sector. So they're doing another outlap. We're not getting any information at the moment when it comes to the top teams. So we are just going to have that on there. None of the top teams' radio information is being broadcast at the moment by the sounds of it, which is a shame. So Pierre Gasly, 24.451 in the first sector. That's not too shabby. That's actually third fastest from what we've seen today. So big improvement there for Gasly. Track evolution maybe. The track, the wind conditions as well, the wind speeds and direction can really play havoc around China. So if you approach that turn 1 corner or turn 6 corner at the wrong time, it really can catch you out. Ollie Bearman fairly nicely as well. Fastest middle sector, of course. He's the first driver kind of out there pushing, or one of the first drivers out there pushing. And Pierre Gasly, purple again, 28.4. So that's 4 tenths off in the middle sector compared to the fastest times that we have seen, but not too shabby from the Alpine. No one expects them to be competing with the top. It's about getting into Q3 for Alpine as Ferrari start their laps, as Antonelli and George Russell will be starting theirs shortly. So that was a second out lap for Nico Hülkenberg, and it will also be the case undoubtedly for for Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris as well, who are about to start their lap as they cross the line, as Bearman does a 33.999. So Norris starts his lap as well. Pierre Gasly, what's his lap time? Pretty good. A 33.571 for the Alpine driver, as Charles Leclerc goes fastest in that first sector. So better improvement for Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, but Lewis Hamilton maybe choosing a different route, a different approach in relation to his battery deployment, or maybe he's still having some issues there through sector 1. But Isaac Hadjar, if you're any concerns about the pace of the Red Bull, well, they have just been confirmed there, as Verstappen only goes 7 thousandths of a second quicker than Pierre Gasly in an Alpine, and Hadjar is actually slower by half a tenth. Oof. Bearman went off last corner, did he? If Bearman went off last corner, he could potentially end up with a penalty there. Or not a penalty, but his lap time deleted. As George Russell goes even quicker in that first sector. 24 flat in the first sector. Ocon moves up to P4. Top 4 separated by just under a tenth of a second. If only that would be the case, but it won't be, undoubtedly, when Charles Leclerc crosses the line, and Lewis Hamilton as well. But Charles Leclerc is on top of Lewis this lap, a 32.602, unless Lewis has improved dramatically in this last sector, as George Russell is purple across the board. He's done a 27.79 in that middle sector, as Lewis there, confirmation that was a poor lap, 6.5 tenths off. But George Russell, oh my goodness, is setting the timing screens alive, because he's 3 tenths quicker than his teammate in the first sector. He's 2 tenths quicker in the middle sector. Oscar Piastri goes half a second behind Leclerc. Here we go. Lando Norris goes 3rd fastest. Watch this. Kimi Antonelli's only gone 0.03 of a second quicker than Leclerc. You think that's close? It's not close at all. Watch this. George Russell across the line. 32.2. He's a full second quicker than Hamilton. He's 9 tenths quicker than Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. 3.5 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc, and 3 and a bit tenths quicker than his teammate. George, slow it down. Come on. Calm down. Not even a purple last sector. The last sector is owned by Charles Leclerc. It's still the mediums. No, championship not over already. No. What is going on with these AI transcriptions? Like, there's nothing coming through. Maybe I've got it wrong. George is another time zone compared to the remaining field. Yeah, it does seem that way. So at the moment, with 3 minutes remaining, it is currently in the bottom 6. It is Ocon, Bortoletto, Lawson, Bearman, Lindblad, and Colapinto. As I'm watching that Ollie Bearman off in the last corner. Oh, yeah, not too badly, not too much off. Yeah, he won't have that lap time deleted because he kept all 4 wheels, I think. Yeah, he kept him touching that white line, but definitely kicked up some gravel, that's for sure. Toto, no doubt, will be telling Russ to eat it. We don't want FIA on our neck. Mercedes certainly knows a few tricks of the power unit versus McLaren. 100%, yeah. As Norris complaining about Antonelli being in his way to push on a lap. So, could Antonelli be investigated for impeding? Yet to see a replay of that exact moment. But that was an engineer message, which we are not getting relayed to us. So I am going to stop there you go, noted, Anthony. So I am going to stop the radio transcriptions because it seems that they're just not working on my end. So, sorry guys, not sure what's happening there. We tried it, and I don't think it's working. We'll try it again later. Or I'll try and fix it later. But we'll go back to just having the chat box on screen. Put my Mert top on. Where we've made the best car, but the FIA hates us. Right, so right now it is Russell fastest with a 32.2. Antonelli fast up there with a 32.5. Lewis Hamilton is doing another lap right now. So he did a 24.5 in the first sector. That is slower, but his middle sector is much better. A 28.120. But that's still 3 tenths off of George Russell's fastest second sector time. So yeah, a lot. It's just down to this battery efficiency, isn't it, that they have. The Mercedes and Mercedes of Antonelli is going again, as is George Russell as well. His fastest, not been able to match his fastest first sector time there, George Russell, but we'll see if he's able to improve in the middle sector, so we'll keep an eye on them. But all eyes on Lewis Hamilton as he crosses the line. Currently a second off, now goes 8 tenths off. So how about Piastri and Norris? Also slower in that first sector. Antonelli's the only driver really in that top teams who is improving in that first sector, as Piastri does push Lewis Hamilton down. Lando Norris coming around the last corner as well. He is green in the middle sector, and green in the last, but stays where he is, even though he improves. Kimi Antonelli, can he get it closer to his teammate? He can, with a fastest last sector, half a tenth off. And while George isn't improving in the first and middle sector, if he improves in the last sector, then maybe he can edge that gap out to his teammate. But it may just be a Mercedes battle for pole position here, as George does go fastest in the last sector, but isn't good enough to improve because his best lap was already too good, as Gasly improves again. Wow. Noted Gasly and Verstappen impeding. So we have 3 seconds left now. This is it for drivers out there. It's currently Colapinto, Lindblad, Lawson, Bortoleto, Ocon and Hulkenberg in the drop zone. Colapinto at the bottom of that list, and he stays the bottom of that list. He stays P16 and is out. So not to the dizzying heights of his teammate Gasly, who is into Q3 by the looks of it, as Lindblad also crosses the line and is out in P15. How about Liam Lawson? Can he improve? He can, but only up into 13th. So the RBs maybe not looking as strong here as they were at Albert Park in Melbourne. So Esteban Ocon, he's currently in P12, slower in the first sector, but improving in the second sector. That second sector is actually really good at 28.1. And he crosses the line, and it's not an improvement. And that is it, ladies and gents. Nico Hulkenberg is on a slow-down lap, on a cool-down lap. Bortoleto as well. And we have lost Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Liam Lawson, Bortoleto, Lindblad, and Colapinto from Q2. And, well, making it into Q3 by 0.02 of a second is Isaac Hadjar. Making it into Q3 by 0.05 of a second, half a tenth, is Max Verstappen. Those Red Bulls not at the races here this weekend, it seems. And Merc is on mediums, yeah. So, I mean, it may be different on the softs. Be interesting to see the data and so forth. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised really that Mercedes is still so quick in the middle sector. So let's have an update of those sector times. And you can see here that, I mean, that there is ominous. Like that 27.79 in the middle sector where it's more tight, twistier. It does show that Mercedes do have a very decent all-round car. It's not just the power unit, because yeah, the fact that Hamilton and Leclerc, maybe they've still got battery issues. Max had a big off in the last corner, did he? And Gasly has supposedly Gasly put him off. Yeah, hands in the air, shaking his hand. Verstappen wasn't happy about the Alpine of Gasly, and that will be investigated. But those are your sector times there. But good job from Gasly. Massively underrated driver, Pierre Gasly. Q3, while his teammate is 16th. In fairness to Colapinto, I don't know what issues maybe he's having with the car. There's going to be a lot of, with my driver ratings, there's going to be a lot of investigation to those issues that drivers have, because Colapinto did have his car just snap on him, like Max Verstappen did in Turn 1 at Australia in qualifying last week, down into Turn 6 earlier. And he also, his car stopped in the pit lane. Didn't even make it to his garage. So maybe there's some gremlins in that Alpine. And maybe Colapinto could have got into Q3 if his car was functioning correctly. I don't know. Behrman is starting to show up Ocon. I know, he's out-qualified him again. Behrman is a talent, someone that people should be keeping an eye on for sure. What's happening with Hamilton in the first sector? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to presume maybe it could just be driver confidence, or it could be battery again. This is the problem that we don't know right now, is that maybe there is a battery deployment issue, and it's not deploying where it should do, like we saw in Australia, but we'll see. Hey Kelvin, any update on the McLarens? Not as slow, better, not as slow as Australia, but not as quick as the Mercedes. You want Hamilton to be in pole? Many people would want Hamilton to be in pole and their drivers, but I think there's only one man right now who's going to be on pole position, and that's George Russell. Unless Kimi Antonelli has anything to say about it. What is Hamilton lacking at the moment? Maybe, as I said, the only thing I can think of is probably, not making excuses for him, but maybe the battery. But he also did have an interrupted first practice session as well, so how much has that hampered him? But it is a track that he should be comfortable at, so... Maybe Lewis just saving battery in the first sector to use in the middle, but last year it was the same, slow in the first, purple in the last. Yeah, maybe the first sector is just where he doesn't like to push it as much. So... My pleasure, Dej. Thank you for the 100 there. Is that 100 dirhams? Thank you. How does the rotating wing even help the Ferrari? Well, it's not on there now. It's not on there now. I think it was causing more instability than it was. Causing more instability. There's not enough time because of where the straight mode zones are. I think in particular turn 6 and down into turn 1, it just wasn't. It's not maybe the right track. It needs more straighter sections where the straight mode is available. So Monza probably. You've also got Baku. Trying to think of other tracks where there'll probably be like straight braking zones. Maybe Red Bull Ring as well. Those are areas where you've got high braking zones, but the straight mode zones will be in straight lines, not into very fast approaching corners, if you know what I mean. I bet they want to do more reliability running with the new wing too. Yeah, and that as well, Connor. Yeah, I think the limited amount of testing here this weekend was probably not enough for them to confidently put it on the car. You're from India? Yeah, it's good to see, obviously, people tuning in from across the world. So welcome, everyone, no matter what time of day it is for you. So we have one more qualifying session to go. Q3, this will be the shortest one. I'm not sure if it will be a single push lap, so we'll see. Only 8 minutes long. You don't think Max is going to win any race with this car? Not in its current state. It definitely needs some updates for sure, but it could be a long weekend for them. Remember, though, they can change the setup of the car from after the sprint race into qualifying, but I don't know how much there is possibly that they can change at the moment. It might just be fundamental issues with the car. Giving 2014 vibes, Seb after winning 4 in a row and a junior. Maybe, and then off to Mercedes. FIA should investigate Mercedes ASAP. They can't wait till June. Everything will be over until then. It's not possible. Well, they will make... I think there'll be changes. I think there's already discussions about changes to how much battery can be, like the effectiveness of the battery and so forth. As we have green light, pit exit open for Q3 here, SQ3. I think there will be some alterations between now and Suzuka, and that may help close up the pack. But I do suspect... But yeah, the last thing that they want in this set of regulations, which people are complaining about already anyway, the last thing they want is one team completely dominating. They do want to have a battle, because if there's a championship battle, it will help paper over the cracks. But we'll see. Can Leclerc somehow split the Mercedes duo? Well, this is what we're going to see now. So they will be on the soft compound tyre, and this will be an indication heading into qualifying tomorrow, and we'll see how they fare, because the performance on the medium and pushing as hard as that on the medium isn't necessarily what the drivers will always do. So yeah, let's see. Well, fully expecting Merc to be clear on softs. Stop trying to bring down the mood, Connor. I'm trying to stay positive, okay? But yes, I am expecting Mercedes to lock out the front row here. There's nothing that I've seen thus far. And I think that will probably be the case for a while. Qualifying, I think, look, over a single lap, it's quite evident that they're just so much more efficient when it comes to storing and utilizing their battery, even at a high energy deployment recovery circuit like this in China. But the race we saw was different, so we'll see. The FIA was adamant in the last regulation they didn't want to hamper Red Bull for doing a good job, but they're happy to do it to Mercedes. I'm just saying that I'm just speaking my mind as what they may think and Formula One management will think. It may be the case if the regulations weren't getting absolutely dragged through the ringer by fans and obviously fans online and that, because it just compounds the issue of, well, one team's dominating it all. So people are, maybe there might be a lack of viewership because people don't like the regulations and concerned about them. And then to compound it with the fact of a team dominating, that also will turn people away. So competition is always good. Right, here we go, guys. SQ3 underway here, the final qualifying session of the Chinese Grand Prix for the sprint race, but will be happening very early UK time tomorrow. So Kimi Antonelli and Mercedes straight out there. That shows their intent. So we'll see how they fare. And can Mercedes close the gap? But a first sub-24 second first sector from both Mercedes drivers. We haven't seen anyone break the 24-second barrier mark, and both Mercedes drivers have done it consecutively there, with George just having the edge by a couple thousandths of a second. They've also been very quick in this middle sector. And look at that. Max is already half a second off of the Mercedes time in the first sector. Charles Leclerc not able to improve. That is his best first sector time that we've seen today. How about Lewis Hamilton? We'll see. He hasn't got anywhere close to Charles's 24.1s. Oh, for the first time, Lewis Hamilton has beaten Charles Leclerc in the first sector. A 27... I tell you what, it's neck and neck between the two Mercedes drivers, by the way. Who is going to get on provisional pole here? Kimi Antonelli. It could be the only thing that saves us this year from a Mercedes domination is a proper inter-team battle. Remember, they let Lewis Hamilton and Rosberg fight, which provided some very historic moments, some dramatic moments. Could we see the same this year with the Italian youngster and the George Russell? It's a 31.880 for Antonelli. It's not his quickest last sector. He has done 40.2, so it's all on George Russell's last sector. Oh my goodness, a 39.9. He's stuck 3.5 tenths on Antonelli on that last sector alone. It was neck and neck. Max Verstappen coming across the line here, and he is 1.7 seconds off of George's lap time. My goodness. Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton's had a much quicker middle sector. So this is a good lap time from Lewis Hamilton. Charles, I think, has had a bit off in the middle sector, because that 28.2 was not particularly quick at all. As Lewis Hamilton crosses the line and goes 6.5 tenths off of George Russell's time. I mean, it's not 8 tenths. It's not 8 tenths. So that's something, isn't it? It's not 8 tenths. So, yeah. It could be way worse. But Charles definitely had an off in the middle sector there. Not sure where it occurred, but yeah. So the McLaren boys still not out there. But I don't think... Will they go for a second push lap? I think they probably will, because we have seen that these tyres can do multiple laps. So China is a bit of a different circuit, though, because there is more load put on the cars. But George Russell, fastest there. Don't know what happened with Antonelli. He probably had a lock-up in the last sector. Must have done. Must have had a lock-up in the last sector. McLaren going out late? Yeah. Probably wanting the best of the track evolution. But we'll probably see Antonelli and Russell do a second push lap and give it a go. Pit stop lost time. I think it's around 19 to 20 seconds. I don't think it's massively long. Even though the pit entry, I mean, even though obviously the pit lane entry is where you can see that right angle is into turn 16, but you can go full speed there until pretty much where the all that section is pretty much full speed until you get to the pit stop time. Or pit stop line, sorry. But Antonelli's going to go again, by the way. I think Antonelli's going again. He's up to 330 kilometers an hour here, down into turn 1. So Antonelli and George Russell going for a second push lap on this same set of softs. If they're able to improve here, that is something. But it's good to see that these Pirelli tyres aren't just one and done anymore. Max is crying about not enjoying the regulations. We know, mate. Yeah. Please tell me how will be Hamilton in this Mercedes car. I think Hamilton would fare just as good as George and Antonelli in this Mercedes car. So we'll see how Charles Leclerc gets on those. So let's keep an eye on that first sector time. So still on a second push lap, even though those are yellow sectors, you're talking only a couple hundredths of a second difference between George Russell and Antonelli in that first sector, in their first sector times, which are sub 24 seconds. That is ominous. We'll see what Charles Leclerc's is. It's a 24.105, so he's improved. So Charles Leclerc has improved in his first sector time by a few hundredths of a second as well. Lewis Hamilton, is he going to improve as he makes his way down into turn 6? As Kimi Antonelli does a 27.598. So they're not improving in that middle sector, George Russell and Antonelli. Those tyres just starting to lose out a bit. And Lewis Hamilton is a 10th off in that first sector as well. Pierre Gasly, a 24.293. That's a great first sector time by Pierre Gasly. That's faster than what we said. Oh, Lando's just gone purple in the first sector. He couldn't, could he? He couldn't, could he? How much of the battery has he got left? Lando Norris has just gone fastest. And Piastri... Have McLaren just figured out the Mercedes power unit all of a sudden in SQ3? Let's see. Let's hope that this middle sector is not half a second off of the Mercedes, because this could throw a spanner in the works here. Russell and Antonelli are unable to improve. Leclerc is improving. Leclerc's done a brilliant middle sector. A 27.7. Oh, but his last sector is not great. It's slow, so he doesn't get ahead of Lewis Hamilton. But what about that middle sector? Oh, it's a bit of... They've lost a couple of attempts in the middle sector. They've lost a couple of attempts in the middle sector. Lando Norris is making this close, though. All about the braking into turn 14. How much more battery does he have? Is he going to have enough recovery here? Please, Lando. Please, please, please. And Piastri as well, as Gasly moves up to 5th ahead of Max Verstappen. But one more corner for Norris. His foot to the floor, across the line, and Lando Norris goes, 6 tenths off. They run out of battery. How about Oscar Piastri? Here we go, round the last corner. Just nothing. They can't compare with the pace in that last sector. Not to put it in comparison. George Russell did a 39.9 in the last sector. They've just lost 6 tenths down the back straight alone. They gave us a moment there, guys. They gave us a moment. How about Isaac Hadjar? Hadjar in P10, 2.2 seconds off the pace. Oh my goody God. The Red Bull's definitely not here, but that was interesting. But the Mercedes just have such an advantage in that last sector, where we understandably expected them to have so down that very long back straight. It's just all about the power, and George Russell was, I'll show you the sector times in a second because I have to go and I have to go start my day at work, my day job. So, just running through your grid for tomorrow. It is George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton in 4th. So your top 3 are Russell, Antonelli and Norris for tomorrow, with Lewis Hamilton in P4 on the front row. Surely that's Ferrari leading into turn 1, right? Just like it was in Australia. Oscar Piastri in P5, Charles Leclerc in P6, Pierre Gasly. What a job from Pierre Gasly, getting his Alpine ahead of Max Verstappen, Ollie Behrman and Isaac Hadjar, who are starting 8th, 9th and 10th. Nico Hulkenberg in 11th, Ocon in 12th, Lawson 13th, Bortoletto 14th, Lindblad 15th, Colapinto 16th, Sainz 17th, Albon 18th, Alonso 19th, Stroll 20th, Bottas 21st and Perez 22nd. And just to show you the difference in the sector times there, and show you the efficiency of the battery recovery and deployment, you can see Piastri and Norris just slightly quicker. You're talking hundredths of a second than Russell and Antonelli in the first sector. Get in there, Norris in the middle sector. So it shows that if McLaren can unlock that Mercedes power unit that Mercedes evidently have, they will challenge them. And I think we are hoping that will be the case, because Piastri and Norris there, fell off a cliff in the last sector, just not able to efficiently maintain the battery necessary, because look at Russell, 39.9, Antonelli 40.2. So they're still 3 tenths off of Antonelli, who I think locked up in the last corner. So yeah, ominous from Mercedes. We'll see how it fares in the sprint race tomorrow, because, we saw the yo-yo in, and we saw that maybe the races are going to be very different to how qualifying plays out. So there we go, guys. But I've got to dip off. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back for early morning hours for the sprint race. And then, of course, we do it all again for qualifying, where maybe there'll be another shake-up. because they are able to change setup and so forth. But we still know, unfortunately, that it is a lot to do with the battery and the efficiency of it with the power unit. And at the moment, that is definitely in the Mercedes court because, yeah, they've nailed it. So we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Bye.